Hey folks, Steve here. How are you doing? All right. Absolutely gorgeous day out here. Let me kind of spin around. Man, oh Manischewitz, as Tony's uncle would say, this is an amazing day. Had a ride in the Corvette, mowed the lawn after weeks of not mowing it because it's been super dry. Finally got some rain, finally grew up, so I was able to mow and feel good about it. And I am out here today with all my stuff. So I've got some projects. It's a little later in the day, but that's okay because we got a lot of stuff done inside too. I mean, it's that kind of day. It's like just fantastic. Love it. Now, complementary to all of that is coming into this wonderful tool trailer. Any build out, I don't care, van, truck, or trailer, and trailer of any size, 5x8 up to Godzilla size. That it's amazing when you can come in and everything's just organized and ready to go, and it's just shopping. Hey, here's a screw gun, I need a tip for it. I'm out there, yeah, it's amazing. It makes me giddy. I'm just gonna spin around and let you see this thing. I get a lot of new viewers, a lot of old viewers, and the tool trailer seems to be, one of those things like, hey, so here, check this out. So operationally today, this is what we're looking at as far as just kind of running with it today. Everything is more or less organized exactly where it needs to be, with minor exception. I am actually putting these bumpers on a project right now, so that's why they're out. I just got a new tool in, and it is this new Craig pocket hole jig right down there. That's the box, actually. I did an unboxing of it the other night, filmed it, or videoed it, and I will probably get that posted soon. Got the countertop all cleaned off for the most part. This is a rack for my spare tire, so I'll be able to hang my spare tire on the front of my trailer as soon as I get that mounted. Everything up here is kind of neat and organized. That's just some of my grab-and-go tools around the trailer. I do not necessarily take them into my job sites. Down here, just a lot of grab-and-go drill bits, so I'm not having to paw around finding drill bits all the time. They are, of course, the typical sizes that I usually use. One of the Vicks bits, that's a kind of a self-centering for like door hinges and such. Pencils and markers. Some of those magnetic catch-alls, I love those things. Beyond that, it's just life is good. Bunch of chargers. Couple of more chargers, actually a whole bunch of chargers in there, a lot of extra batteries all charged up and ready to go. I even got a couple of brand new chargers in there, so that's amazing. One came in a kit and one I bought independently for a job site situation. Really cool stuff, lots of bits all ready to go, all organized. All my stuff is in the cubbies. Very easy to inventory, by the way, as far as am I missing a tool when I'm on a job site, because they all have a home. All of my nailers down here. Nailers up there. Unfortunately, my impact wrench does not have a home right now, so it just lives there. Sanders, clamps, but that's actually a corded belt sander back there. Vac, a couple of saws. There's my workhorse. That's a 6.5-inch blade left. Couple more tools. Couple of more tools. Love that. That's a big 60-volt mixing drill back there. Can you see that thing? That is an amazing drill. One of those, high torque, low speed mixers. Love that thing. Don't use it often, but when I use it, man, that's the tool for the job. And then the great big joist drill. That's just an absolute beast right there. Otherwise, I had to get to my blower, so I had to move those things out of the way. Otherwise, they typically kind of sneak around the corner there. All my tools that'll go in on a job site will typically be right there as far as the belt. My belt really is kind of like a toolbox that's ready to go in. Therefore, I don't necessarily wear the tool belt unless I unload it. But that's why I have some grab-and-go tools just around the trailer itself, hanging on those magnets. I'm not loading them into a tool belt for any reason. They're just hanging there. They're just hanging there in case I need them for right around here. So it's neat stuff. Beyond that is, if you watched any of my videos, I have this wonderful hardware store back here. These are 8-ounce jars. I have everything labeled right down on the sides here, and I pretty much stick true to that labeling. And typically sizes will range from a number 6, number 8, then number 10s. Very few number 12s or higher. And it doesn't matter at that point what particular diameter of screw you're looking at. It's typically going to run into those. So that's really cool stuff. Other than that, a little bit of reorganization for me. These two kits are new. They're replacing a big kit. I repurposed that box right there for something new. And then all the drawers are labeled. You see some labeling down all the way down through there. This would be on Ron Polk's Smart Trailer Plans. That would be Drawer Bank 3. It's my version of it. That's not exactly what his looks like. And he has 2 of them. My trailer's much smaller. Some PEX material. Then this is my bulk hardware, what I'm calling my bulk hardware, and all of those Milwaukee organizers where I can have either a 1 or a 5 pound box all in those bins. Very cool stuff. And I have things, just, everywhere and anywhere that I can put stuff in here and hopefully remember where it is just critical. Like in the nose of my trailer, I have a cordless fan right there for, just anything I want, specifically on the job site. It's just nice to have some air movement. A couple of those Spider hole saw kits, one of those Plumber Lennox hole saw kits. Here's my air on the trailer. Here's the beginning of my electrical system on the trailer. That 10-3 20 amp extension cord that feeds out of the bottom of my trailer and plugs into shore power. That is the only power that I have. I do not have onboard power at all without being plugged into the shore. All kinds of chemicals, all kinds of clamps. I really just tried to take almost, advantage of almost not just the square inches, but the cubic inches in a space like this to really pack it all in. And with a trailer like this, outfitted like this, and with all of the tools, no matter where you look, I've got something tucked somewhere, but visual. It's not like behind something else in almost all cases. And I've actually had some interesting comments on, why. And at first, it's like, is it the organization? Of course, why organization? Well, why not organization? So you can find it and get your hands on it quickly and make the job site more efficient. That's an easy one. But for me, I've actually had a couple of comments on, like, why so many tools? Why not just have a small set of tools that you can, probably put in the back seat of your truck, and then that's what you take to the job site. For some people, that's exactly all they need. They wouldn't need this. Some handymen out there, they do all kinds of small jobs, like those, in and out, hour, 2 hour, 3 hour jobs. Do they need something like this? Some do, some don't. But it depends on what you do, is really what it is. And I'm assuming those people that are commenting almost negatively, but certainly critically. And I'm okay with criticism. Critical comments are very good because it makes you think, right? What do I do? Well, I pretty much can do everything. I try and be a turnkey contractor. I do a lot of handyman work when it comes up, but I'm a remodeling contractor. I do not build houses from the ground up. I'm not geared for that. I think I could. At this point, I don't have the time to, as a one-man operation, try and get that all organized for a client that would have to wait for a year and a half on a house like that. So beyond that, I'm a remodeling contractor. So I can put an addition on for you, which can be up to a half a house. And I certainly can come in and remodel any room that you've got, including kitchen installs and all that kind of stuff. So because I pretty much can do everything from the foundation all the way up to the roof and shingle it too, I've got the tools for that. So I have the plumbing tools, I have the electrical tools, because I am allowed to do that. In my state, in my area, I do not have to have licensed people on the job site either overseeing me or doing the work. So that's very convenient, because that would be frustrating to me to go to Massachusetts and not being able to plumb my own sink, or to put in a toilet, or swap out an outlet, or move a circuit over so I could have an overhead light. That would frustrate me because I know exactly what I'm doing, and it will pass inspection. And that's what the deal is around here, that everything that I do has to be inspected by a couple of different entities. So there's my safeguard, that it has to pass inspection. So so I do things and I do them right. So with that, I just have all these tools to accommodate all of those things. It's because I try as best as I can to be a one-stop shop for whatever my client needs, so I'm the one they call. They don't have to call anybody else. And it keeps me busy. So that's why I have all of these tools, because I can handle everything from the foundation up, and I want to be prepared for that. So I have all of this, and that's why the build out, because if I have all of this, it's nice to have it with me, because things do creep up on jobs and you just didn't expect to need that thing that day. Grinders, I don't normally need to use a grinder, but oddly sometimes it comes up like, wow, grinder would be the great tool for this job, and I have one. But you need a metal cutting disc. Oh, I got one of those too. Or I need a flat disc, or you need a whatever it is. And well, I have a selection, so neat stuff, right? So that's why this thing is built out the way it is because I really try and be a one-stop shop, a turnkey event, if you will, where I can handle anything and everything that you're going to throw at me as a client. And you don't have to call anybody else, because if you have to call somebody else, they may be your next call. And I would like to be that first call because it earns me money. And that's kind of why we do this. I love the creativity of building and all of that, and the problem solving, and keeps your mind sharp, right? However, I kind of like to make money. And that as Bob Ross would say, that happy buck is indeed a happy buck. There you go. Just a wonderful day. I'm going to get out there and get to it. I was working on Ron Polk is all around me, right? As far as just all the stuff that he's done. I've tried to emulate, bought his plans, built it out, modified it for me, and all of that. So I'm bought into his system. It works incredibly well. There are other systems out there besides his. I just happened to land on his first, and I kind of like the DeWalt stuff. Why do I have all this black and yellow around me? Is DeWalt like the biggest, baddest, best tool out there? No. No, it's not. They're good tools. They are professional tools. They're not like weekender, hard weekender tools. These are professional tools. However, are they the best out there? No. But the reason why I have them is because early on, the very first cordless drill I ever bought, it was a 9-volt. It had one of those kind of cylinder-like batteries, I guess. That it was a DeWalt. You know, it's back in 1990 something or other. It was a DeWalt, and so I just kind of latched onto that. And when I started to replace tools, the guy I was working with was buying DeWalt. I was very comfortable with that platform, so I'm surrounded by DeWalt. They work, and they're pro grade, and they do everything I want them to do, and they don't break down on me. And so that's why. So Ron Polk hit all of his systems with the Smart system. You know, Smart. They work. So I'm bought in, and I have built two Smart benches and a Smart station. I'm in a Smart trailer, so I appreciate what that lends to my job site efficiency and my workflow to keep me on that job and to keep me going to make that happy buck. So today I'm just outside. Right now I was working on my Smart Cart version 1, Smart Cart, that goes underneath the workbench or the Smart station or the Smart bench, workbenches. And it makes them mobile on a job site as long as you're on a flat surface. If you're in the yard, well, you're going to need something else. But on a flat surface, they are an amazing, amazing complement to those workbenches. So I'm just working on that outside and just kind of wrapping up a couple of the details. Then I'm going to kind of set everything up, and then I'm going to work on some stuff today. Neat stuff. It just makes me excited. Yeah. All right, well, I got to get to it. Thank you very much for sticking with me, folks. If you haven't already, would you please like and subscribe? It's a great way to say thanks, and it's certainly free to you. If you haven't, ring that bell. Get notified when I drop a new video. I'm not on any particular schedule, so at least you get notified. And lastly, I would certainly say that I hope you see me on whatever next video I drop. That means that you probably did ring that bell, or you have an amazing YouTube algorithm that just knows I'm the guy that you need to look at on that next video when I drop it. Oh man, good days, right? Hey, you all take care. Have a good one.